Quentin, and I'm currently PGY3 in internal medicine in lovely Savannah, Georgia. I just acquired my Moonlighting license, and I am going to share with you the process. So I went through a whole lot of little tasks and obstacles. I went from not even understanding what the word Moonlighting meant, because in Spanish we have another word for it, to actually going through this process and teaching myself how to acquire this license. So I'm trying to make your journey easier, sharing this information with you. So I hope it's useful. And in summary, okay, let's go into the action. What's Moonlighting? Moonlighting is just being able to do extra shifts out of your residency training. Of course, priority number one is fulfilling all the demands residency has. You usually can do Moonlighting in most programs in the US after you have completed your first year of residency. So there are a couple of requirements. One is you have to be a PGY2 or above, and the next one is you should have step 3 completed and already passed. After that, you have to speak with your program director, and if they're fine with it, of course, search for different options and get your license. So this is basically Moonlighting. Okay, so this is a nice video that explains basically how to get, or the concepts around Moonlighting. All these links, you can see them right here, but I won't make you type them into your navigator. I will attach this in the comment section below, and I will leave a brief explanation so you're just able to click on it and go through these things. I'm giving you a summarized version. I'm giving you the most important pearls about this. So as you can see, this timeline is showing you the key factors regarding Moonlighting. What's this? Medical licensing examinations, international licensing factors, how do states and physicians, what does it say here, participate? Well, this is general information. Some of it might be useful, some of it might not. Okay, so now let's go on to the next one. The next one will be specifically to the state of Georgia, so you want to be accustomed to this website, medicalboard.georgia.gov. This will be in the comment section below. And now this is the step-by-step guidance of how to get your Moonlighting license, okay? In summary, the real term for this is an unrestricted physician license, and that's basically what will allow you to do Moonlighting. This is the website, a very nice website that will give you a PDF document, basically showing you step-by-step how to fill out the application. I found it pretty useful, so I won't spend too much time on that. I will leave the link over below, and I will talk a little bit more of some information that will complement this. We will also go through this rather briefly. So this is another great website that will show you the different supplemental information you will need for your license. So it's important to go through all this, and this will take you, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see this right here. And I found this to be extremely useful in my case because I had a question, for example, what is the application fee? Here it will tell you how much. If you official medical school transcript and all the different documents that you will have to upload, it will also tell you the requirements for each and every one of them. So I'll also leave the link there for you. But now let's go on to actually applying for a license. So in the past, you could apply not only online, but also apparently by mail. Now it is fully digitalized, so it's going to be through the online interface. So I will walk you through this real quick. Of course, first you have to make your login. You have to log in from scratch, right? Make your username and password. You have to save that for sure. I will leave the link also below. And then you will get to this first webpage. This first webpage will give you just some very general information that you have to confirm. You should see a license right below here because, of course, if you are Moonlighting, you are Moonlighting in the state where you are doing residency because, of course, you should be undergoing residency while you moonlight, so it doesn't make sense that you're moonlighting in another state unless you have a little airplane that you can go over there and come back, okay? So here you should see your residency training permit, which is your partial or your limited training permit for residency. That's what you should find in this section, okay? That shouldn't be blank. And then you'll start off filling this information. Most of you will want a full physician license, so that's what you will probably click through, unless you have a specific work opportunity, which will be only in telemedicine. You will order for telemedicine, or if you will be just teaching, you will click on the teaching one, but for most of us, it's going to be the full application. After that, it's going to take you to this main screen, and in red, you will see whatever is pending. So anything you see in red usually is going to be pending, and I recommend you to sit down and start filling this out. All you can fill out in a single sitting. It will take you probably a couple hours to get this filled out good enough to a point that you're like, okay, I filled out this all I could, but now there are certain spaces I have no idea how to fill out. That's okay. Just remember to save and save and save this information, and that's the way you will be advancing on this application as of your first year completion in residency training. You should already be thinking of this right before you finish first year. In my case, I didn't know where to start, so it took me a little longer, but that's part of the reason I'm making this video, so you can start a little earlier than I did. And here you can see, of course, there's the demographic section. It's pretty straightforward. In red are the different boxes that you definitely have to fill in. In gray are the boxes that you can or cannot fill in. So I would recommend you initially just go through the red boxes, what is strictly necessary, and just save and continue. So after that, your address, same thing, red box is required, the other one's not strictly required. Update information once you have it, then continue. Mailing address is going to be very important, so read through this, but you're going to need this because they might need to send you information. So, and there's going to be two different addresses. So one is going to be the mailing address, and the other one is the primary practice location. Primary practice location for most of you will be your residency program. Then you have medical education and training. You want to just continue filling these things out, and of course, fill it out to the best of your ability. Here you can see examples. Of course, I'm blurting out certain things. Just it's not necessary to share some personal information, but this might help you and guide you through the filling of this information. You do have to put in all the license history. So in my case, when I filled this out, I had a residency training permit from Florida. So I added it here because, of course, here what it's asking you is specifically any license you have out of the state of Georgia. Now let's go on to a little more information. Here it's asking you for your supplemental information DEA number. Most of you won't have a DEA number because the way you get a DEA number in order to prescribe these different scheduled drugs, medications, is going to be once you have your medical license, your full medical license. That is my understanding. I think it is a prerequisite. If I'm wrong, please correct me, but you can fill this out without putting in any DEA number as long as you have one. I actually acquired my DEA number after they gave me this unrestricted license. Then you have to fill out the hours you're working. This is an example. Of course, if you are writing down that you're working 80 hours in your program, you probably won't have any space to do moonlighting because I'm not sure even if they would give you a license because that would be already like 2 full work schedules, right? So you have to be conscious if you actually have the time to do this. And remember, the priority is going to be your residency training. Okay, so next we go to hospital privileges. This is answer would be no. If you're a resident, you would be say no because you're not an attendant physician. If you're an attendant physician, you would have hospital privileges, not as a resident, so I left that in blank. Then there's a question section. This question section, go through it, each and every one. Of course, anything you answer yes to, you will be asked later on to attach a document in order to verify that information. And once again, I will add this link in the comment section below if it is relevant. I'll go through it later on after I publish this video. So here you can see that then you get to the document section. You won't get to this document section initially, I believe. But here you can see the checklist. This checklist you'll get after you apply and you send all the information. You will be applying online. Try to get all the documents uploaded online on your initial application as able. But there's good news. The good news is that if you're missing a document, well, they will tell you. And if you find out you're missing a document before they even tell you, you can also email it to them. So I will also add the email in the comment section below where you can send them these documents you're missing. So we have already gone through these, actually 3 different things. Initial application fee. So okay, you did all the online thing. You added all the documents, which we'll get to in a second. But I just wanted to show you that the initial application fee will be about $500, I believe. We will see that next. Application questionnaire we just went through, and practice plans. So that's basically them asking you what are your intentions with the moonlighting license, which that will be specific for each and every one of you. Here you can see all these different documents, and I'll show you each and every one of them how they look and any special pointer on them. So now we're on the document attachment section. I'll add this link below, and here you can see the list of what is needed. So now we're going to the first one, CV/resume. As you see, I took note of this. I was doing my own keynote while I was working on this because it's very easy to lose track and to forget what you were actually doing. I would recommend you, highly advised, to make your own keynote. And as you can see, in green means I already sent it, in red means it's something's pending. So these little boxes you will see are the screenshots of the initial pages that give you the information on each and every document and the requirements. This is probably the easiest one you can upload because most of you, when already going into moonlighting, have already had a CV you sent out to your residency training program, and you probably already have a CV. Don't worry that much and don't get bogged down on updating every single thing of your CV. Make sure to have a rather recent, hopefully within the last 6 months, CV and update that or upload that to the initial application. It will give you the option to do it online. If not, you can send it on email. Second document is citizenship affidavit. So here, as you can see, I am a U.S. citizen. I have to mark that, and here it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty short. You need a notary public, and we'll talk about that shortly. So this is an additional document. If you're not a U.S. citizen, you can mark the other options. This is the third document, affidavit of the applicant. So you have to add your little picture headshot right here, and it's just this page right here. If you have any question about it, you can see this section here. You can pause the video, and once again, this link will be below. Here is another document, citizenship verifiable document. So this is basically, they just want to see that you are who you say you are. In my case, I just use my U.S. passport, but you can also use a valid driver's license. Those 2 documents will be the most important for most of you applying. If not, you can pause the video and check it out on your own. Then there's the malpractice questionnaire. So even if you haven't had any trouble in your history in medicine, don't ignore this questionnaire because this is a requisite. So in my case, you can see here, if you haven't had any issues, you will mark none right here, but you still have to fill out the above the initial section of it. And that's about it. And then in the end, you have to, I think, sign it. If you have anything dealing with malpractice, of course, you will have to fill out more things in there. Then these are the documents we have already put in. So we already talked about all these documents, and the ones in red will give us maybe a little bit more work, and we're going to go through them. So here you can see medical school transcript. Sorry, this one cannot be uploaded by yourself. Even if you have it on your computer, you cannot just send it to them through email. Of course, this is the email, which I will be adding in the comment section, but so you can get a hold of it. This is the email. You should send any documents for your application to the Georgia Medical Board. This document, medical school transcript, has to be sent from your medical school. So you have to get in touch with them and get them email it, as you can see here in this section, which it was emailed on May 21st. Then let's talk now about physician licensing exams. So basically, we're talking about USMLEs for most of you. If you have any other exams, I'm not even sure if there's anyone that could send National Board of Medicine Examiners, NBME, test. The only time I've used NBME is just for practice test for the USMLE, but maybe some professionals out here have actually had requirements with NBME that you should send out. So in my case, I'm just going to have to send my ECFMG. So for anyone that is an FMG or foreign medical graduate, you have ECFMG title, meaning ECFMG stood for, what was it? It was Foreign Medical Commission, we'll see it right over here. Educational Commission for Foreign Medical Graduates. So ECFMG title, basically what it says is you have successfully completed step 1, step 2 CK, and the English required examination, which currently is the OET examination. Okay, so that's one you have to send. You cannot send it yourself, so you have to do something to send it. You need the actual ECFMG services to send it. So you will have to log in to your ECFMG account. This is going to be $66, as you can see here, and that's basically it. So here you see the webpage, and I'll also leave that down below, and that's going to be your ECFMG. If you're not a foreign medical graduate, well, that means that you have to do a little bit different, which is going to be right over here. This is going to be the exam transcript section. So you will log into this website. Even if you're a FMG or not, you have to log into this FSMB, or Federation of State Medical Boards, and they will give you the transcript for all your USMLE history. That's why I put this right over here. If you don't recall the exact date you took one of these tests, you have to log in, you have to make an account, you have to log into here, and this actually shows you when you did your step 1, 2, 3, and you will ask for exam transcript. Just click on this thing right here. After you make your own login, click into this, and you'll be able to ask for your transcript. This transcript will cost about $70. Once again, you cannot submit this to the email provided. You will need them to submit it. That is my understanding, and it will give you the option to submit it to the medical board. As you can see right over here, I paid $70 to get the certification, basically for step 3, because ECFMG title says you passed step 1 and 2 successfully. But, well, you also have to show them you passed step 3. So these $70 includes 1, 2, and 3. So this is the one I sent, and it will ask you where you want to send it. It will also give you an online link where you can download it, and it will be valid for about 30 days, I believe. So make sure that you download it so you have it on your own document profile, right, for if you need it later. But it is only valid for 6 months, so you can have it there, but if in 1 year you need to send this again, you'll have to pay the $70 again. So now let's move on, and here you can see something extra. I'm just showing you this right here for anyone who is living on a tight budget, such as myself. I was thinking that maybe I had to pay this thing, which is within the FSMB website. It says Federation Credentials Verification Service, and it was $610. So I was like, oh man, this is a lot more money. I thought I needed to send this in order to prove that I had passed step 1, 2, 3, and all this, but it's actually not exactly the case. So what exactly does this FCVS give you? It gives you a lifetime portfolio of primary source verified credentials. So yes, this costs like $600 in total, but as you can see, it also includes your NPDB, we will talk about shortly. But yes, it is $600. It is the benefit from this is that if you have the money, right? If you have enough money, perfect. You can pay it because it will give you a lifetime portfolio, so you won't have to be ordering USMLE transcripts again, I believe, or some of these other papers again. It will be lifetime verifiable documents there. And number 2 is that if you are applying for locums tenens or working or thinking you will be working in different states either at the same time or different states within a couple of years, right? You probably would like to pay it because it would be a one-time investment. But in my case, I need my Moonlighting license right now for Georgia, and I'm living on a budget, so I just did it the way I just showed you without having to do this FCVS application, which would be great, but it would be an extra $400, which I currently don't need to spend. So eventually, when I do fellowship, I hope I will moonlight, and I will pay the $70 again, plus $3.5 plus something else, and that's it. And that's the way I am doing this. Okay, so now we have already completed all these different documents. So here you can see we already talked about malpractice, medical school transcript, ECFMG. I skipped the postgraduate training, and we also spoke about licensure examination score. Let's go back to the postgraduate training. It's going to be several slides here. This one is required to be filled by your program director. So here's a vital moment where your program director will be necessary, because they will fill out this for you and they have to sign it over here. And they're basically saying here that yes, you're a current resident in their program, and it's explaining how you can submit. This one can be submitted to the email address, but once again, it has to be submitted from your program director or GME program leadership, okay? Maybe your program coordinator, but it has to come from them. Okay, so now let's move on to next one will be NPDB Self Query. What does that mean? Well, NPDB means National Practitioner Data Bank. So this self query is basically just asking the system, is there any trouble or issues attached to my NPI number, to my National Provider Identifying Number, right? So the only reason you would need to do a self query actually is if you have had a full medical license in any jurisdiction. In my case as a resident, in most of your cases, you actually don't need to even present this, because as you can see, this information is from the official website. It is only needed if you have held a full medical license. In my case, I wanted to turn all the stones, and I wasn't sure, maybe they will ask me about it. I want to just get this over with. So I did send it to them. So this is the way you will be able to do it. There is actually an instructional video I will leave below, and I also leave this information there. There are several steps you have to complete, and I'll show you right over here. This is basically the initial information showing you the different things you have to complete. You will need this identity verification for individual self-query. So you will click through different things, upload some information. You will need a notary, and the notary will actually be able to complete this information for you. And that's about it with the NPDB, okay? And well, there you have the address for my previous home. So, well, I'm not longer in there. So, yeah, if you want to say hi, just leave me a message down below. what else? Pending to recheck the NPDB. So you have to check that this is actually working, and you have to drag this information into here. Once you have the notary's signature and all that, leave it there, and then you have to make sure that it went through. So you have to be on top of that, because in my case, for example, after I paid it and all that, it said that it didn't go through, and they needed the file uploaded again, which I did, and in the end, as you can see, it did go through. You got the document here, and this document you can actually upload to your initial application online. So the turnaround will be 2 to 3 days, and you have to be checking this website. Okay, that's the NPDB. And as I mentioned, only if you've had a previous full medical license or if you activated your obsessive compulsive personality. Okay, so same information here. I had already sent the application online, so I just uploaded it to the email provided, as you can see. And this is the same thing, just showing you that it is a 2-page thing, and yeah, that's about it. Okay, then you'll need 3 reference forms. So you'll require 3 different MDs that make this reference for you. It is a pretty simple document. It is just 1 page long. You will add your information above, and this information right over here, it will be the physician, of course, with an active license that will basically say, okay, I am trying to help out this person to get a license. They won't have to write any of that there. I believe they just have to sign this thing over here and put in their information. Here's a template I used for each of the MDs I asked for help. You can go through this and you can steal this information, because it is pretty straightforward and you could possibly use it yourself. Once you have it, each of these doctors have to upload it from their official, I think, institutional email. Or it must come directly from the physician given the reference. It is not accepted from the applicant. Okay, so there you go with that. It's going to be 3 of them. Here you see back and forth emails with these physicians, and basically be appreciative and thankful when they help you. And here you can see that we already talked about NPDB, reference form 1, 2, and 3, and now we're just pending state verifications. If you've had a license somewhere else, you have to upload that information, give that information to them. It's not going to come from you, it's going to come from the other medical board. So, and before I leave this page, power of attorney form, that's only if someone is doing this for you, which I guess most of you will be filling out all this for yourself. So I didn't even go through that, but understand that power of attorney is if you cannot fill this out, you cannot apply, you need someone to do it for you for X or Y reason. Go read a little bit about that. So state verification, we're just going to go to that one. You go to the fsmb.org website. You can search your state medical board where you have a training permit. In my case, I have the resident training permit from Florida. I looked it up through here, and I basically got that information and was able to get them. Let's see, that must come directly from the verified licensing board, unless noted below. Okay, so I think I also sent them an email, but I used Veridoc. I believe Veridoc helped me out, and through veridoc.org, I got them the information that I actually have a residency training permit over there. This other page, I'm not sure why I put in my NPI number right over here, but okay. And let's see what else. We already talked about this. Here you can see that I applied successfully, and it was $500. This is the online application. You won't be able to apply within the first 2 days, because you will probably want to upload all the documents. So this will take you probably 15 days, sometimes a month, for you to get all these documents and be able to apply. I would recommend you to send the application the fullest you can from the start, even though you can send attachments and documents through the email provided. I believe they would prefer to get almost all of it on the first pass. So here you can see that it will appear like this. Once you have applied, this thing will appear like this. Don't get stressed. You will see this right over here for a whole lot of time, maybe a month, maybe 2 months. Don't get stressed. Eventually, a couple months later, probably they will be contacting you, and here you can see that they touch base with me. Actually, a good recommendation I would give you is to touch base with them. And in the website for your medical board, it will say these last names from letter A to letter D. So mine would be Clinton. This would be the person I would have to contact. I contacted Katonia Reynolds after a couple months of not hearing back, and eventually they answered me. So yeah, touch base as soon as you can. If you really need this quick, touch base earlier rather than later. And that's about it. The steps are going to be, once you complete everything, you send it, then they will undergo a quality assurance that will take the most time. In my case, it was about maybe 2 months. After that, first completion, they tell you it's completed. That's what takes the most after you apply, 1 to 2 months. Then they'll tell you it's going through quality assurance, and that took a couple of weeks. And then that's it. Then you get the approval. If you don't get the approval, they might ask for other information depending on your case. So here you can see you have to be checking your email, because they might be asking you for things. In my case, I thought I had sent absolutely everything, but as you can see, I was only missing one document. So here you can see that this is the only document I was missing. Somehow it didn't get to them, which we already talked about this document. So I had to, I'm not sure, fill it again and send it, but that's important that you have your documents saved. It was this document right here that was required from the program director, right? And here you can see that everything is green. Power of attorney, I already talked to you that I didn't need. And here you get the information that you got the license. Of course, you will have to save the little license. It has, it's like you print it out front and back, and then save it and have it with you, right? So some pro tips right before we end is that contact information is going to be very important. So be sure what are the times you can call, what is the phone number you can call, and be actively calling whenever you have any question. If you're working, just put on your AirPods and call and have them on the line, maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour. It's better for you to get these things cleared up. So Here you can see that there are emails to contact specifically and different providers, so make sure you contact the right one, and this is dependent on your last name. And I will leave, what's this? I'll see if this link is useful or not, and might upload it. So this number right over here is the Georgia Medical Board number, and yeah, I had to stay on the line a couple hours, and they eventually did answer, so do your thing, right? Phone 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays, and upon voice recording, press 1 for help and 2 for new license. So there you have it. Step-by-step guidance. This is a very good recommendation of how to go through each of them, which I mentioned and will be down below. Make a folder. Go step by step, of course. If you don't make a folder and you don't have any organization doing this, you won't be able to go through it, because if you just work a little bit, you don't even write down, or you don't know where you left off, it's going to be way too much. So you have to be organized. Look at this. If you see this from scratch, you're like, oh man, this is way too much. But of course, this is a daily thing, and as you go advancing, suddenly you'll have this whole lot of information, but it's not going to look so difficult if you go step by step. Remember, you will need a notary service. In my case, my program coordinator and I believe the adjunct coordinator also, both of them are notaries. So first asking your program, and they didn't charge me for this help, so that was great. So that's something that's going to be important. There are only 3 documents that require a notary service, and if you do the NPDB, that's going to be one for the self-identity verification form. The other one is going to be the affidavit, citizenship affidavit, and affidavit of the applicant. Okay, so start searching before you get your license. That's going to be one of the last things. You don't want to have your license and not be able to moonlight, so you want to start searching places where you would like to work and get in touch with them and tell them that you're in the process of getting your license, but start touching base, right? Thank you for your time, and sharing is caring, as you know, and I will be talking about different things in next videos. I'm gonna make another video on how to get your DEA number, how to register for PDMP. With those 2 things plus your license that I just showed you how to acquire, you basically would be a full-fledged physician in the state of Georgia and ready for moonlighting if given the chance. So that's about it for this one, and hope you have a great day, and hope this helped, and yeah, leave any feedback.